Hi there, Lady Val here, and I am back to join in with the Out with a Bang Last Days of Summer 2026 collaboration. And this is hosted by Mandy from Junk Journal Fix with SunflowersAndDors and Julie from Julie's Papercraft. So each one of them have a kit which you can purchase in their Etsy stores if you want to join in with the same papers that we're using, or they're giving out freebies if you're a part of their groups on Facebook. And there are going to be lots of good freebies, so you can do either or use your own papers, whatever you would like. But today is my day, which is day 4, and I am sharing that with Joanne from Creating with Jovi, and her that's her YouTube channel, so you can tune in to see what she made for today. And my YouTube channel is on the far side of Whimsy. And we have a prompt today, which is half an image. So that's what we're going to be doing today. But before we get into my project, I wanted to show you my base journal that I have done for this particular collaboration. And I decided to do a tab journal. So it's all tabs. And I'm using both kits, some pages from both kits. So I made this little cover. This is the packing paper that you get sometimes with, I don't see it very much with Amazon, but I see it with Walmart and other providers. And we live out in a rural area, so we get a lot of packages, and I get a lot of packing. So that's what that is. And I'm going to be, of course, decorating the front when I finish this. I haven't started putting anything into it because I'm going to be going along with some of the prompts during the month to fill, the inside. But I'll just quickly flick through. See, these are Julie's papers, and the ones with the bees and the little bee people, are Mandy's paper. Her kit, Mandy's kit, is called Beloved Memories, and Julie's is called Heirloom Sunflowers. So this is the packing paper from Amazon that I lined some of the pages with, just to give it some more interest, and did some inking. And this is another page from Mandy's Beloved Memories. And I backed most of Mandy's with Julie's. She had a lot of wonderful, background papers. So basically, these are just blank pages that I haven't done anything with, and my tabs, of course, are there. And it was, it's a lot of work to do the tab binding, but it's fun, and yeah, I thought I'd do that something a little bit different. So anyway, I just wanted to go through and show you that real quick. And this paper actually on here that I backed this with is from the paper that, when you get new shoes and they have that paper stuffed in the toe of your shoe. Well, that's what this is, and it's really thin and very fragile, but it worked fine to collage it onto this backing. So that's what I did with that. And just going through. So these are, I will probably do some online, the decorating, and some offline, but I'll keep you updated on my progress in this. But I think it's going to be a fun month to make a fun journal. I actually have done bee journals, a couple bee journals in the past. I did one for each of my daughters. So I do have some, coordinating bee ribbon and all that kind of stuff. So we'll see if I can incorporate some of that from my stash and use that up. So here we are, almost to the end. And I did the back with some collage of the different papers, did some stamping, and then did some paint on the back, just to give that a little bit of different interest. So that's going to be my journal. So I just wanted to share that with you. So I'm going to put that aside. Put it up here out of the way, and I'm going to show you what the project is going to be. Now, Mandy's kit actually had a half image, which I thought was perfect for what I wanted to do. And this is what it is. It's a little bee person whose little bee butt is on one side and her bee front is on the other side. So I thought this is perfect. But you can do it with any image, you know, that you choose. You just have to make sure you cut it so it's half an image. And the way it turned out, I made two, and I'll tell you why I did. I made this as a prototype for with the kit, and basically, you know, you pull it out, and it shows you the whole image. And then I just did some decoration on the front, and the back, you know, is just the bee paper, and I did a little decorating here. And then you put the little image back in, and it's back to its, you know, little half image. Now, the reason I wasn't happy, you know, extremely happy with this one is because it seemed rather flimsy to me. The paper I'm using is 90-pound paper, which is fine for most of my projects, but for this, I just felt that it was like a little too flimsy, and I wanted it to be, you know, more sturdy than that. So what I did is I just used some of my paper and my scraps. This is some actually from the group, one of the groups, and I reinforced it. So when you pull it out, it's much sturdier, and you get your full image there with the butterflies here. But it just doesn't feel as flimsy to me. And it goes back in, slides back into the half image. So that's what we're going to make today. I actually have already cut the pieces out, but I will go over them with you. It would take too long to do it on camera, and I don't want to keep you any longer than I have to. So basically, let me bring the pieces out here, and I'll explain them as I go, and we'll do the gluing together. Okay, so this is the main page. When you have the page, the whole page, it goes something like this. Okay. Now, I leave about, what is this? Let me see how wide that is. Oh, about 2 inches. I leave about 2 inches over the middle, the midline. I took my scoreboard and scored right in the middle and did my fold, and then I opened it out again and I left about 2 inches. Now after I cut that, you know, this is the part that needs to be reinforced too, because what you want to do, you have to make sure that your image only slides in so far. You don't want it to go, you know, past here and get all caught up. You want it to stop here. So you have to make sure that this is cut smaller than your outside card, because you're going to be putting this backing on it. And you want to make sure that it slides in and out easily. So I cut a piece of scrap paper, and I made this, let me see, this must be about, yeah, about 1.5 inches, maybe a little over that. And I cut the ends off. I cut it down. I saved the pieces to show you. I cut it down, you know, this much, so it would just reinforce, you know, this flap here. So I'm going to glue that on with you and show you what I mean. And this is Beacon's 3-in-1 glue. It's a silicone-based glue, and it's my glue of choice, just because it gives me time to move things if I need to, because sometimes don't get them on straight or whatever. And it is a little bit more to purchase it initially, but to me it's very much worth it. And I do have the other glues. I also have Barely Arts and, you know, the whole thing, but I still prefer my Beacon 3-in-1 for many things. I do use Oohoo glue sticks. I have those, and Scott Create glue sticks. I have those. So what you want to do is you want to, this doesn't have to be perfectly even, but you just want to, this is just your reinforcement piece. So you just want to glue that on really well. And then I am going to round the edges, and I have my extra large corner rounder here. And it's just to keep everything nice and neat on the inside. Okay, let's make sure we've got, yeah, that's really good. That's going to work out perfectly, I think. So now this piece gets glued all the way down, because this is going to be the stopgap for your sliding image. So again, we're going to go around with the Beacons 3-in-1. And make sure this is glued down really well. Okay. And I'm just going to burnish. Oops, sorry, got my. Just going to burnish that down really well with my bone folder. Okay, so far so good. By the way, I already inked these very lightly with, I use ground espresso around all the edges, so I did that off camera too, because you've seen hundreds of people ink, I'm sure, if you have watched any videos. Now with your image, your half image, the other half of your half image, you want to make sure that that is also shorter than, you know, your outside card. So these are the pieces that I took off, you know, top and bottom, and you want to make sure that you don't cut any of the wings or the feet off, you know, as much as you can. The feet on the bottom are kind of, they go out to kind of fade out anyway, if you see here. So you can cut up pretty close. You don't want to, you know, cut too far, but as long as your image is going to slide in and out unobstructed, you're good. So I can get rid of these pieces. We don't need those anymore. Now the other thing you have to do is you have to line up your actual images. So you have to be, you know, as precise as you want to be. I mean, you don't have to line them up perfectly. But as you can see, that's where they need to be. So I'm going to get my little, I forgot to get my clips out here. So this is about where I want it to be. So I'm going to take my clip over here to the side and put my image on there. Oop, I missed the image. Well, let's try that again. Let's go from the bottom. Let me get it lined up again. Okay, that's better. So you temporarily clamp that on. Make sure it's where you want it. And if you need to adjust it, now's the time. So when you turn this over, you're gonna, this is a strip, it's 1 inch. Yeah, it's just a 1 inch strip. I took 2 pieces of 1-inch strip and I glued them together for the extra, stability that we were talking about earlier. And, oh, actually I didn't. I haven't glued them together yet. I lied. Let me glue them together. I like to reinforce this. I mean, if you have thicker paper, if you're printing on maybe 110 or, greater weight paper, you may not need to do this reinforcement. And if you're fine with the, not being as sturdy as I've been talking about, that's okay too. You can just, stick with your 90-pound paper or whatever, pound paper you're using. Okay. Now what you want to do is you want to make sure this doesn't go over the edge. So you want to kind of keep it just like that. Now the only places you're going to glue this are you're going to glue it from here down on the side with the stop flap, and you're going to glue it from here over for the actual image. And then you have to make sure you let it dry really well. Let me cut this off. There's a stone that's just slightly bigger than the other. Not that that would matter a whole lot, but it might, not adhere so well with just that little bit. Okay, now we're good. So we just put whatever glue is your favorite glue on there. And you want to kind of center it. It doesn't have to be perfect. Center that. Now I'm just going to let that sit a minute before we glue the other end. Basically, once we glue the other end, then you're going to bend it in. And it's just a matter of actually doing the bending, because it, to automatically get it in, it has to bend back this little strip here. And that's what gives you the ability to move it in and out and not pull it all the way out. Okay. The other thing I like about this Beacons 3-in-1 is that it actually dries pretty quickly, so you can get on with your project. Okay, now let's just glue this down on this side. Off so I can check the placement. Make sure it's where I left it. Yes, that is pretty perfect. Okay. Just giving it a little burnish here. Okay, so far so good. I think we're doing good. Get these out of the way. Now, what you want to do is you want to bend this back. And you need to put your image right up next to that, abutment that we made there. And fold this one back all the way that's, glued to your budding paper, whatever you want to call it, and then burnish it down. So when you pull this out, the glue's not quite dry. You see it's going to pull out like that, and it's going to go back in like that. So that's the inside mechanics of it. And actually what I like to do with it, I'm going to open it and let it dry a minute because it is still wet. I like to round these corners. Just for the heck of it, just because that's my preference, not because you have to. Just gonna ink up those corners. Okay. That's going to work out perfectly. All right, now we have the back, and you can choose any paper you want for the back. And we are only going to glue just like you would for a large envelope. Down the back, down the top and the bottom. And you do it as close as you can to the edge because you want this to be able to slide in and out without a lot of effort. I'm going to see, that's what's sticking on. We have a little bit of glue that oozed out there, so I'm going to erase that glue. And that's the other thing I like about Beacon 3-in-1. You can get all if there's any extra glue at all, it just erases right off. It balls right up. Comes right off, which is a nice feature, I think. Okay, looking good. Let's glue the backing on and see how it works. Okay, thin strip there. And the strip there. And a thin strip there. Now I need to make sure I'm putting it on the right way up. Okay, this is the top up here. So I want it to go on like this. Just need to make sure that everything gets pressed down. And of course it's bulging out a little bit here where the paper is. Oops. I'll pull that out for the moment while this glue dries. I'm going to put some clips there just to make sure. And I used my large whale tail punch to punch out. I'm going to see, I had two of them. Just going to see which one went better. I must have used the other one. I don't see it. So this is our choice. We have one. Let me go around. The edges. ink this up, give it a little grungy appearance. Okay, that looks better, not so stark white. And this is just some scraps that I had from whatever. I have so many scraps. I could never buy another kit and probably still have enough scraps to last me a lifetime. So, I don't know if I'm the only one out there. I don't think I am. I've heard other people comment too on the craft hoarding syndrome. You know, you get all these things that you just love, and then you don't want to use them, because if you use them, what are you going to do? They're going to be gone. So you hoard them. Okay, so we want to be able to pull this little bee person in and out easily. So the best way to do that is to add a tab. Okay, that looks good. Got just a little glue ooze there. These off. Okay. Everything seems to be dry now. Okay, so that's the basic layout. You just bring your bee person out and you put your bee person in. So we've got your half image on the front. We've got the other half of the image on the inside that slides out to make him a whole bee person. I think I should have made, I'll tell you the mistake I made on this one right now. I should have made that little paper, you know, thing a little bit shorter, just a hair shorter, because this pulls out just too far to, you know, I mean, it pulls it out where it needs to be, but it's harder to get it back in the little envelope, because that tab is too long. Should have been like maybe not even a quarter of an inch, and it would have been, you know, better. It's not bad, but, you know, and you can practice with these with any paper and whatever. What I meant to do before I put everything together was to do a little stenciling on the front here. This is a little sort of a bee pattern, beehive pattern. So I was going to do, I tried the different colors on this paper. I tried black and dark brown, and the only thing that really looked good was the lighter brown. I even tried yellow for the bees, you know, yellow and black, and it just didn't look that good against this paper. So I'm thinking this brown will do just fine. So there's my beehive. I'm going to put some bees up here. And I'm using Distress ink, which is permanent. It's not your Distress oxide, you know, which oxidizes with water. So there we go. That looks just fine. Now, with my other one that I showed you earlier, I'll bring it out again. You know, I did some decoration on the front, which is, you can basically do anything you want to decorate the front. You can decorate the back. You can decorate the tab to whatever your liking is. But that's basically, I wanted to show you the basic, how you make this. And you can adjust it any way you want, make it any size you want. It doesn't have to be this size. It just so happened, like I said, Mandy had a half image that I thought was perfect for this project. So that is my half image project for Out with a Bang, Last Days of Summer 2026. And I had fun doing this, and I'm glad I could share it with you. And thank you for watching, and we'll see you in the next one. I'm going to be decorating that journal I showed you. Take care. Talk to you soon. Bye.